What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Scythe, and we are back in some more Trove to Trove, and today we're going to be talking about probably one of the most useful videos that I've had in quite a while. I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time. Sorry that this video is so late to you guys and gals, that I had promised to make this video a lot sooner, but basically what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be going through some various in-game text commands that you can use both on PC and on consoles alike that will end up changing your settings for your options in the game, which is very useful for console because you can end up lowering your frame rate or increasing your frame rate, I mean, because you don't actually have access to the graphical settings on console and stuff. But then on top of it, a lot of these are just going to be generally like very, very useful commands that you're going to be able to use throughout your experience. I will put a link in the description to where you can end up finding the majority of these text commands from the Trove wiki, which is absolutely awesome. Did you guys even know it existed? Probably not, but it's really useful. Most of all, we're going to be, we're going to skip over a lot of the commands and just focus on the detrimental ones. So one I did want to mention just on the side here, because it actually is not included in the wiki near as I can tell, unless I just can't find it. Recently, in the Bomber Royale Season 2 update, which apparently is not out on consoles, so I don't think that this, I don't know if this command is actually out for console players until we get Bomber Season 2, which might be why it's, I couldn't find it on the wiki, but there is a command /set_chat_timestamp. And that quite literally will put a timestamp next to messages in Trove. We've already had mods that do this on PC, but this, quite literally this text command was for console players, and yet Bomber Royale Season 2 is not out on consoles yet. So somebody confirm in the comments whether or not like you're on console and this text command actually works for you, because otherwise it's going to end up working in the future at some point if you're watching this video later and the update's actually gone out. So let's go through some of the other normal text commands here. Again, I'll put a link to this location, not necessarily to the set timestamp, because that's just related to the Bomber Season 2 stuff. But we've got /who. That will end up, listing all of the players who are around you. It's very useful when you're in Shadow Towers and maybe you're trying to kick somebody who isn't, on your friends or something like that, or just generally being uggles. You can type /getXP. All of these are going to be one word, by the way. That quite literally shows the amount of XP you got. You can, for some reason, like there's weird ones too, like /friendlist. Will end up opening up your friends list, but then more useful ones are going to be /friend space and then the username. I guess never mind what I said about there not being any spaces. Most of them don't have space, but either way, that will add a player to your friends list. You can actually add people offline, and there is a command /acceptAllFriends, and that will end up accepting all friends, which I'm pretty confident to say that the devs ended up adding that just for me, because I kept yelling at them about it, because when I open my friends list, my game crashes and there's no possible way that I can accept all of the friends list, all the friends that whatever, all the people that add me, I'll say. So you can also /ignore and then player name. That will put them on your ignore list, so that way they can't invite you anymore. You won't see their messages and stuff like that. You might still see them in the world, but on top of that, I do want to skip ahead and say that there is also a command to basically do the same thing and ban people from your club world, which is very, very useful, and ended up coming out a long time ago, but it's a little bit weird. So when you're inviting people to your club, it's /club space invite and then the player name and then the club name. But when you're banning people or blocking people from your club worlds, you gotta switch it around a little bit. So you basically have to type /club space block space, and then you put your club name in quotes. I'm pretty sure it needs quotes no matter what. Maybe it's just because our club Team Pixel has a space in it, but you gotta put it in quotes, and then afterwards, at the end, you end up putting the username. Sorry about the noise. It's gonna happen. There's construction going on here, as per usual in this season. Shush up, Jub Jub. But either way, that'll block people from your club world. I don't know. I think just use unblock instead to end up removing that block from them, but that's going to prevent them from being able to enter your club world. Another one that's fairly common that a lot of us use just for joke's sake is /respawn, which is quite literally going to have your character game wreck themselves. But it is useful in club worlds if you're trying to get back to spawn and stuff like that. Some of these ARA commands might be useful more so for console players. You can actually type like /store and the /friend list that I mentioned earlier, because I guess on console, normally you gotta use like the V menu, right? And navigate through that. So if you wanted to just go to the store, you can just type the /store command, which again, we won't go through most of those. I just want to say that those options are there. So again, check the link in the description if you want to see it all for yourselves. A couple weirder ones that I do want to explain: show hat and show face. Those ones I'm pretty sure is for modding. So it's going to toggle your hat model on and off and keeps the stats active. So basically, if you end up making a mod file, you can turn it on so that you can visually see it in the game without having to do like relogging over and over or something like that. Honestly, it's been a long time since I ended up modding anything. /quit will end up quitting the game. /get world ID, one word. This is going to be very useful. Basically what that's going to do is show you the world ID, and I think it puts it on your clipboard. But either way, you need to copy it, because then the following command /join world, one word, and then space, and then you just paste the world ID, and that will take you back to that world. So it's really useful for adventure farming and stuff like that, because what you can end up doing is going back to, you get the world ID, you go back to your club world, you accept a quest, and then you just go right back into the world that you were just at, instead of having to start a whole new world over again. /kick is a way that you can kick people from your club world. They can just come right back, but I use this command a lot, usually when I'm building and people are in the way. /clear cornerstone, and then put the slot number, because you can actually have multiple cornerstones. I forget where. There it is. I don't even have these other ones just because it's so useless for me. But that'll quite literally be a way that you could just clear the cornerstone instead of clicking the trash. Why would you ever want to do that unless you're at the start of the game? I don't know. But then there is also /cornerstone damage able. True or false. Okay, weird, but it sets the cornerstone to be immune or prone to damage, so players need to switch worlds in order for the command to apply, but it'll end up removing like you can't do bomb damage, and I guess you just can't destroy your cornerstone. I've honestly never seen that command. I know that the devs ended up adding a command to prevent bombs from destroying your cornerstone, but I didn't know that there was a way you could just turn damage off on them in general. Now, these other ones are kind of cool. /mastery is going to end up, you guys won't be able to see it because of my face cam and I blur out the chat and stuff like that. But it's going to basically show you every possible thing. Like you can see right here, I see badges. I've got 109 out of 111. So I already know for a fact that those two are my rampage badges. But then companions, 24 out of 24. So it quite literally just shows you stats, so you don't gotta go through your collections menu, and you can see how many things am I missing, how much mastery experience do you get from it all. There is also /geode mastery. /welcome brings up the welcome screen. If you have a keyboard plugged into your console, you can just press F1 to end up doing this as well. In the odd chance that you have a PvP arena in your club, because unfortunately we don't have custom Bomber Royale arenas yet, you can always type /test arena, and that'll force the arena to end up going regardless of having the amount of players required in order to do a competitive round. You're not going to end up getting experience or anything like that, but at least you'll be able to play. /debug text is going to show your FPS, your latency, your coordinates and stuff. /region displays the region you're in, whether it's US or EU, which honestly doesn't even matter for this game. /adventure rewards displays how many more rewards you can get from completing club, geode, and outpost quests. That's not really that useful. The reason for that is because there is actually a cap on the daily amount of adventurine that you can end up farming from the quests. Same with the outposts as well. So I guess it's useful if you're grinding that like crazy, but generally is not going to be that big of a deal. So then you can do /chat list space and then the chat name. That'll show all the people that are in the same chat with you. Not really useful for me, but for some of you guys that use Shadow Tower chat and stuff. /channel list. List the chat channels you're also in, so you can always I think it's /leave and then the channel name will end up leaving them, and /join and then the channel name is how you can join them. So there's a lot of, I wish I could have a list of that somewhere available for you guys, because there's a lot of in-game chat channels that people just regularly use, like searching for dragons, searching for shadow towers and stuff. But I don't know what the in-game chat representation is. So I don't know if you type /join shadow tower chat, like I don't know what it's called. So you're just gonna kind of have to ask people around, and more than likely ask people in the global chat. So you can also type /say or /s, and that's just going to talk to people within a 40 block range rather than the world chat, which is /2. /C1 to 5 is going to be all of your club chats as well, and you can easily just opt yourself in and out of each of the chats by clicking on these right here, instead of having to type /leave, /join and stuff like that. There's also /whisper player name, /whisper space player name space, and then your message. You can also use /w, /t, /tell, /r is going to be replying to them, /dnd. Now that's, there's dnd and then there's hide. Those are two separate commands. /dnd is going to prevent people from inviting you and whispering you while it's active, but you'll still appear online, whereas /hide will make you appear offline to other players. So a lot of times, like what I'm doing right now to avoid just being distracted by people jumping on top of me and stuff, is I am in hide mode and in D&D, so nobody can whisper me, nobody can try to invite me, because people actually try to randomly invite me when I'm appearing offline, so it's nice that that is an option. Oh my goodness gracious, I didn't even know this was here for the longest time, guys. So never mind what I was saying 2 seconds ago about the chat rooms, because there's actually a whole list right here. So apparently it requires mastery level 5 to use any of these, but there's like price, trade, SA for Shadow Arena, ST for Shadow Tower. They've got the whole list right here, so that's absolutely awesome. I'll leave that to you guys to read in the description down below, but otherwise that's really, really cool. So there's also going to be a couple of motes that you guys may or may not have known about. You can do /sit, /pose, which is going to have your character pose with your wings out and stuff. /epic pose has you doing the same thing, but you're on your mount, so it's really good for screenshots. /zzz or /sleep makes you look like you were AFK for a couple minutes. /wave, dance, laugh, cry, shrug, bow. And then there's two secret ones, /prance and /stomp. These only end up working with a couple different mounts. So apparently the /prance works with Princess Prancy Pants, as well as Kazarin, Dancer of Clouds, which Kazarin, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, that's the one from Mastery. So he's just a reskin of Prancy Prance. And then /stomp is for Princey McEvilface, or in other words, the Light and Dark Pegasus mounts. So you can always type /club, and then you see right here, it showed actually our club commands. There's also /club list, rename world, so renames the club world. This also fixes club worlds that are set to default for people who have bugged the club worlds. In the odd chance that you're having trouble trying to set your primary club, you can also end up just typing /club space make primary, and it'll give priority to the chosen club over the others, which also is going to end up making it so that you can get adventurine and club experience, blah blah blah. So, and then in the odd chance that somebody ends up inviting you to their club and then you just leave the world and don't see it, that club invite is still going to be sitting there pending, and you can type /club space accept invite space and then the name of the club world. Most of all, it's, you know, again, you can read through all this. It's very, very useful stuff. There's ways you can promote people, demote people, kick people from the club, leave the club, disband the club, stuff like that. It's really useful stuff that you definitely do need to use these things if you're at any point, you know, getting involved with Trove, you know, or trying to manage a club and stuff like that, because sometimes things can get out of hand if you're not managing it properly with all this stuff. And then there's a couple things for Bomber Royale, or just the battle arena, I should say, PvP, stuff related to screenshots. So you can type /hide player, /show player, very self-explanatory, /screenshot will store a screenshot in the Trove area, or in the Trove folder, and it doesn't include the UI, but if you do want to just take a screenshot with some other type of software, you can always press F7. That'll end up removing the UI. There's also a time lapse apparently, which is kind of interesting that they actually have that. There's also show UI space, and then the value is 1 or 0, which is another way you can get rid of the UI if you don't have F7 available because you're on console or something. The Metaforge is something that we'll kind of skip over. I've never learned the Metaforge, but you can type slash, I think slash Metaforge or just slash MF, and that'll take you to the Metaforge. This is the area where players design dungeons. You can also use this to design weapons and items and stuff for modding, although there's other mod tools that are a lot more efficient and better than this. But this is a way that you can end up seeing all this stuff in game and designing it. And it's a very cool thing for sure, but I never learned it. It's just way too daunting and overly complicated for me. So you'd have to ask like a modder about that. You know what I just realized too? I don't know, like, I hope that that wouldn't involve like, you know, breaking the warranty or like breaking into your console or something like that. But if you could somehow navigate to your console's folders, like if you had access to that, you could technically put mods on console right now, because you would just have to bring the mod files, like the blueprint files, over to your Trove folder on console, because it's literally the same as the PC. But I don't know if that's a limitation on console, so I'll get back to you guys on that one. Then there's a bunch of graphic commands. These are going to be very useful, so you can set your draw distance, you change the video effects, so you can type slash FX enable and then space values 1 or 0, and by that I mean you just literally put a 1 or a 0, and that turns it on or off. That one's really useful in Shadow Towers if you got too much video effects going on and you're draining frames and stuff. You can also change your anti-aliasing, change your bloom, change the edges. Very, very useful stuff for console players, because this is going to give you a lot more frames if you lower these settings. Unfortunately, you'll have to change these settings every time you log into the game though. There's also the secret command slash retro mode, which does this, and I actually really like this. I wish we could have the same thing, but a little bit more anti-aliasing, because I love the way that this makes Trove look. You know, like, doesn't it just look so great being cell shaded? And then you just type it again to turn it off, and that pretty much covers it. This was a longer video than I expected, but most of all, even though we didn't get into 100% of the commands, I did want to just kind of mention which ones were available to you guys. So again, I'll put a link in the description to where you can see all these commands for yourselves. Very, very useful stuff. Like, seriously, these commands should be front and center in the game, and a lot of them should actually just be in your options menu and stuff, but unfortunately they're not. These are vanilla settings though, so you can always use these even in the console version of the game, because this is how Trove is coded, which is nice. But again, unless you're checking the wiki every second, there's no way that you would end up figuring these things out just because of what? Random experience? Like how I didn't know any of the chat rooms because I don't use any of the chat rooms, so I didn't know what any of them were. Thankfully, we have a list for that. Either way, thanks for watching. This video was a long time coming. Hopefully you had a good time, and I hope that this video was helpful to you. And if it was, don't forget to like, sub, hit that notification bell. You can always support me by going the extra mile of sponsoring the YouTube channel with that join button, buying some of the real life merch, or you can follow me on DLive for a chance that you can give me free donations, or Gawkbox is another way you can do free donations. There's videos in the description that explain that as well. Have yourselves a great day, sayonara, and stay epic.